Are you looking to get into shape postpartum? Well, you've come to the right place. I'm actually doing the same thing myself. I had my baby back in March of this year, and now that I've been cleared to do some physical exercises, of course, with some restrictions, I'm looking to do a 30-day challenge in July, and I'd like to invite you to join me in on this. As the month progresses, I will be bulking 2 to 3 days together and updating you on things like my exercise, my food consumption, my water intake, and I will also be giving you some tips, some tricks, some simple habits that we can do, how to get in exercise, and even how to overcome some very common excuses. So just a quick introduction, my name is Daisy. I will be doing a 30-day challenge and I hope that you'll be able to join me. Number one, and this is very important, you want to make sure that you are cleared by your healthcare provider to be able to incorporate exercises. Me, myself, I've been cleared, but I still do have some restrictions because I did have a C-section. So number two, you want to look ahead at the month. You want to see and note any holidays, any special events, any appointments, errands, and even your period. And as we cover the month of July, I will be covering tips and tricks on how to work with and around all of these tasks. Number three is your starting point. So you need to decide if you want to weigh yourself and or measure your body. And the reason for this is so that you know where you're starting, and also when you measure and or weigh yourself again, you'll see how much progress you have made. So number four is your overall goal. So where do you want to be? What is your sweet number? For me, if I go based off of the medical numbers and such, I should be 155. But honestly, I've never been that thin. I don't want to be that thin. I've actually felt comfortable between 165 and 175. So that's kind of what I'm aiming at, is the higher end 175. And then when I get to that goal, I might look at maybe losing the additional 10 pounds. But for now, my goal is to get down to 175 pounds. Now, you might be asking, well, Daisy, we've only got 4 weeks in July, and there's no way you're going to lose that much weight if you've got 50 some odd pounds to lose. And you would be right. This is just the overall goal. And we are actually going to break it down into something smaller and more realistic. So for the month of July, my goal is to lose 4 pounds. So 1 pound per week. Number five is our daily water intake. This is one that even I myself struggle with. But as I mentioned before, we're going to cover some tips and tricks and habits that we can use so that we can increase how much you should be drinking per day. The equation would be 1 ounce of water for every 2 pounds. So an example would be if you weigh 226 pounds, you would divide that by 2, and that would give you the amount of fluid ounces you would have to drink. So that would equate to 113.3 ounces, fluid ounces. So that equates to about 7 16-ounce bottles of water. And if you do the metric system in the worksheet I've included down below, you are able to look at the metric calculations. Number six is our calorie intake per day. And there's multiple ways that you can do this, and you can be as detail oriented or as basic as you want. It is totally up to you. I will, however, just list a couple of apps just in case you needed them. None of these are sponsored. These are just tools that I was looking for everyone to use, no matter what device you have, no matter if you have a tablet, a computer, a cell phone, however you want to do this. But here's the list: My Net Diary, Samsung Health, Google Fitness, Apple Health, Lose It, and the other last one is a website actually. It's calculator.net. Number seven is tools and equipment. So for the 30-day challenge, what tools and equipment will you need to use? For myself, I'm going to use a water bottle, some apps for working out, an app to track my water intake and my calorie intake, and also I will be utilizing exercise clothes and shoes. If you decide not to purchase anything new for exercise clothes and shoes, it's totally fine. Just make sure that they are in working order and that they fit properly so that you are comfortable while you're working out. As I mentioned before, I'm going to be uploading a video every 2 to 3 days, both together, so that you can get an update of what's going on as far as my exercise, food intake, and water intake. And also some tips and tricks and habits, of course, that we can all utilize to help to improve on different aspects, especially for those very common, very well-known excuses that we all have for not getting in shape. So now, as promised, some quick tips and tricks for the first week of July. So if you live in the US, you will most likely have a 3 to 4 day weekend for the Independence Day holiday, which means most people will be getting together for barbecues and so on and so forth. And here's a quick tip for food intake. So before you put anything on your plate, walk the entire area of food and select the items that you really want to have and enjoy. That way you don't end up with a mound of food that you may or may not finish, or you may try to attempt to finish just because it's already on your plate. Another trick for water intake, and also will help with the food consumption, is if you want something bubbly, try considering sparkling water and drinking that before you have your food, because that will help to fill your stomach a little bit more than just consuming the food. So I will see you in a couple of days. Of course, if you like this video, please make sure that you give it a thumbs up and that you subscribe and that you hit the little bell so that you can get notifications when we have these updates coming up.